Hello, my crafty friend, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's junk journal flip through video. I am so excited to finally have a new textile art, collage art, just all kinds of overflowing art junk journal to share with you again. And this beauty is something I made for my Etsy shop. I kind of envy whoever winds up claiming her and adding her to their collection, because when I finished this piece, I just absolutely love how it turned out. So yeah, the cover is made out of sari fabrics, of course. I layered one big piece of sari fabric over another to create really deep pockets here. And in the back pocket, I put a long strip of wallpaper sample. So yeah, it's got kind of an India village, really cool flower pot sort of aesthetic that really looks like it's been stamped with a vintage textile stamp, even though this is a modern wallpaper. So yeah, that's just tucked in there. It'll look really cool, maybe added to somebody's collage art. And then for the front cover, I put all kinds of removable pieces so you can keep it exactly as it is, if you like how I've put it together. Or you can take this big, beautiful flower brooch off, maybe wear it on your blazer, wear it on your winter coat, add it to, you know, a dress or something. It's a stunning brooch. But yeah, it's kind of a fun journal in that it's got all kinds of pieces that can be removed. For example, I'm not going to take it off on camera just because I don't like struggling with things when I film. But the little believe charm here and these two boho beads that I've made with various textiles and vintage bead dangles, and oh, just look at this cluster of vintage aqua beads. Isn't that pretty? Anyway, this whole little cluster can be easily removed. It's just held on using a bulb pin, which is basically a safety pin with a bulb shape, and that's holding on the top of this purple applique. So this comes off. It's also held on with the brooch there, and on the top I've clipped it in place with that pretty little vintage earring. Isn't that cute? I love vintage clip-on earrings for holding ephemera and fabric together. Anyway, there's a little silk wrap around here. You probably noticed that on the back too, that holds a cluster of tiny little stud earrings, 5 of them in total. And I've used that as like a belly band tuck spot to hold this piece of vintage embroidered sari trim. And that's also kind of hiding this really beautiful antique envelope. It's so old that it was sent using 1 cent, a 1 cent stamp. So yeah, really cool little piece to collect. The envelope comes out. I'm just not going to take it out while I film because, like I said, I don't like struggling with things on camera. The closure is very easy, just this really pretty black ribbon. And there we go. The front first pages, I think, are my favorite in the entire book. I love the way this spread turned out. It has these gorgeous golden tassels dripping from the bottom of the book. I just wanted to point that out since I know they are sadly out of frame. But yeah, I love how this looks all spread open. The lining material is this stunning magenta pink, or almost like a shocking pink sari with gold trim. I made a tuck spot out of a purple embroidered rose, and I stuck some of this really cool antique bridge scorecard paper advertising F.W. Francis diamond watches, jewelry, and clocks. We've got some old stamps from the Netherlands. Really cool how they're wrapped around this piece. It was ripped like this when I bought it in a pack of ephemera, so just for the record, I would not have torn that apart myself, but it makes for a really cool piece for a collage once again. And then this stunning purple and green flower that was among some of the beautiful ephemera pieces from my friend Kat Stone, who also happens to be the artist who painted this stunning, stunning panther. I adore her art. I especially love the little jewelry details she's added here. Like, yeah, what a beautiful royal crowned cat. So I've used a cool piece of upcycled jewelry out of a thrifted jewelry jar to kind of hold all of the stuff here together. But what it includes is a book page from 1912, a book page all about crafting from the 1960s, like make your own candles, I guess lose weight. This would have been like the waist trainers or the Kardashian endorsed waist things of the 1960s. It's funny how they've always tried to market to our insecurities, haven't they? But anyway, I just kind of clipped this in so that it will all stay together. And then on the other side of that, I clipped in a little sort of pouch made out of plastic. This was holding some ephemera at an antique shop, and I decided to reuse it here. And it holds a really pretty little print of some vintage butterflies. Makes a great place for journaling. I think the back of this wallpaper also makes a great place for journaling. I tried to make these books a combination of really cool collectible old papers and things, plus a lot of actual usable space. And I think this book here achieved a good balance. So, you know, if you're one of those collectors who likes to have a book like this just to keep, I think there's something beautiful on every page, so it could be left just as it is and be a finished piece. But if you like to actually use your junk journals, it's got lots of space to write, and your writing's kind of hidden, which is neat. So yeah, this beautiful printed card is a genuine piece of ephemera from a Victorian scrapbook. You can see where a lady in the 1870s or the 1880s put some paste around the edges of this and stuck it down in her scrapbook. So from her book to yours. And then I decorated the top of this little plastic envelope with some of the most beautiful little stamps in pinks and greens. These two are République Française, so France, French stamps. And this one, République de Guinea, so New Guinea, I guess. But how gorgeous are these? I'm sorry, is it cringy when I say things in French and pronounce it with my French immersion accent? I was trained to do that as a kid, by the way. That's not an annoying thing that I developed to sound pretentious. It's that in French immersion, we were encouraged to roll our R's, and we got added points, of course, higher grades if we pronounced it more correctly. Anyway, so yeah, I just kind of collaged these on with some old book page. I love this stamp. I may have stayed zoomed in on that for a little bit longer than I needed to, but it sure is pretty, isn't it? So yeah, up here I made a pocket just out of some pretty, very, very vibrantly bright trim. And I stuck another genuine Victorian calling card, Nellie A. Finch. Doesn't that just sound like a sweet Victorian granny name? Mrs. Nellie Finch. And then this piece is not vintage, it's newer. I think it's from 2003. But it's a really cool, you can tell I'm old, right? If I say 2003 is a new thing. Relatively new, I should say, compared to genuine vintage stuff. But it's a train ticket from Colombo, Sri Lanka. And so all the writing you see here is a mixture of English and Tamil. So pretty cool. And then this beautiful piece of khadi paper was from Kimberly. Thank you, Kimberly. I'm so blessed to have people who send me just such gorgeous things. And I've just stuffed it with a couple of beautiful stamps just because I thought they were pretty. sari trim for the little pocket. I've done a lot of sari trims and sari trim pockets in this one here. So on the other side, I did this pretty embroidered purple pocket, and I stuck just a cool still life out of an old art history textbook. What I love about junk journals is that they don't always have to make sense. And I used to be one of those people who would get really stuck in the themes that I did. Like I would do a ruby themed journal. Oh, okay, you get 2 pages. More of the 1912 manual. I used to get really stuck on themes. So if I was doing a ruby mystic themed journal, everything in it would be red. Or if I was doing a peacock journal, every page had to have a peacock. But with these ones, like Be Dazzling, the goal is that just every page should have something that dazzles, something with a wow factor. I almost glued this down up here, but I thought whoever gets the book might want to do something different with it. LaGuardia, a US stamp. But I just love the colors, these old vintage turquoise and blues. That's a really old piece of wrapping paper. One of my favorite wrapping papers. And yeah, these black pages, they look really beautiful if you paint on them with bright colors. But they also look really cool if you write on them with gel pens. So whether it's one of those metallic ones or just a cool light color. This gorgeous fabric pinned to some ledger from the 1960s was a gift from Tanya. Hello, my lovely Tanya from My Jewelry Addiction. She sent me the most magical box of treasures, and before I even had the thought to do an unboxing video, it was too late because I already started cutting into the fabrics and adding them to my books. And then later I thought, oh shoot, maybe I should have shared that, but I remember what came from her, these 2 pieces here. Just look at the diamonds in this. Or look at the rhinestones, but let's call them diamonds. How beautiful is that? And here on the back, I clipped a paper doll made after Cat Stone's paper dolls. So this is from my printable kit, my paper doll printable kit. And I just made 2 of the dresses for her. So I didn't do anything special to these. I didn't do anything except ink the backs. Actually, that's something special. So instead of leaving these just plain white on the back, I kind of inked them to show how the paper doll might look, how the fabrics might flow in these. This one I think turned out really cool, the way the inking came out on it. But anyway, so yeah, the book comes with a paper doll, and this, she could be used like a bookmark, or she can explore the beautiful scenes within the book. Like maybe she'd want to wear her dress. Oops. Yeah, so maybe she'd want to wear her beautiful dress here to explore the staircase of Versailles, which is on the next page. Yeah, I try to put things in the journals that are going to be fun to play with. This fabric here was another one from Tanya, and I've clipped it in place using this really pretty petite point, which means like miniature needlepoint rose brooch. And this was also from her. Looks so cool. The black pearls, the white pearls, and the gold trim on these staircase in the same color scheme. Just love that. Oops, and I'd also hid just a pretty little blue butterfly under here. So yeah, the other side of this I think has the prettier piece of fabric that flips up to show another Versailles interior. This is a cool page of advertising out of an old lapidary journal. So it's all about gem cutting, crystal work, cool old painting. I'll try to go a little quicker. We don't need these videos to be an hour long. Brushstroke calligraphy instruction page. old French book page, art history text page. I love seeing women artists in the past, especially who were successful in an era dominated by male artists. So I've included this one here from an art history textbook. I think it would be pronounced Catharina van Hemesen, but from 1548. Good for her. Good for her. There's some cool typewriter instruction paper. And then over that, I've stuck a few pages out of a really cool vintage book about seashells. It's got a really neat illustration of an old king there. Super cool, maybe an emperor. But I thought those looked just so pretty tucked in. A strip of fabric from my beautiful friend May from South... Oh no, wait, this is not from May. This one I bought myself from India. There is something from May coming up. I've started to receive so many gorgeous things from so many amazing people that I'm losing track of where I got what. A clip-on earring here to decorate this page. By the way, so the paper dolls, I left them basically unadorned. I'm just going to put them here for a second. But the clip-on earrings that you see throughout the journal can all be used to hold the dresses to the doll. So this paper clip-on earring, it's not just chosen for its ornamental value here, but because it makes such a stunning belt on our paper doll. And if you can tell, that's a true vintage earring. It's not just a new clip-on earring. That's a, I don't know, maybe the 50s? I have no idea. Any date that I venture would be a pure guess. It's older than me. That's what counts. In my estimation. I think when we find a cool piece of paper or a cool old piece of jewelry and it's older than we are, it's a cool object to hold because you know that object was in existence on this planet before we were. Okay, so this page spread is a fun one too. I found this in an art history textbook and was very surprised to see that it's a collage by Pablo Picasso. And I didn't realize that Picasso did this kind of collage work, but look at the bit of music paper, kind of half torn, partly cut, just a circle, some text, some drawings cut into it, some what looks like old wallpaper. So yeah, it looks like, I bet Picasso would have loved junk journals. And so here's some music paper that you can use in your own collage work. I put a beautiful sticker from my friend Kat Stone. It does come off if you're gentle, so you could re-stick that somewhere else. And yeah, and I did just a little collage using pieces somewhat similar to Picasso. It wasn't meant to look like a replica of his, but just a little collage detail to go parallel to his, with some wallpaper, some paper from my friend May in the same color he used here. And then, of course, the music paper over top. And then this pocket is holding just some a cool old book page from an antique book from the 1800s. And another little bit of music paper for your Picasso-esque collages. And then this is a pocket. I'll show you something very special that's going to go in here at the end of the video. I held this beautiful piece of vintage embroidered fabric in place with a stick pin that has a similar little petit point flower as the little other pin we showed earlier. Another little bundle of papers. So these papers are actually sewn right into the signature, so they don't need a paper clip to hold them in place. I just like to hold things like this in place with a clip when I'm using particularly old, fragile paper, because I feel like it's more secure in the book if it's all kind of clustered together. to turn as a unit rather than having each individual paper loose. And so under the paper clip, I've put this stunning, stunning sticker by Cat Stone, featuring one of her magical, beautiful women. I just love the details in her art. Look at the vase. So gorgeous. And the jewelry she paints on her women, it's all just so stunning. But anyway, this little strip of paper here was from a French legal document from the 1600s. So talk about a cool thing to hold in our hands and contemplate the fact that it was in existence before we were born. That was in existence before our grandparents, 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 grandparents were born. This little graph paper is from a little antique sketchbook that I bought at a local antique shop. And then another piece of that paper from 1912. I guess I used a bit of that in this book. On this side, I put just a cute little cluster of ephemera that I held together with a little star brad that I found thrifty, and I got so excited. The star brad. So yeah, I think I filled this book with all kinds of drool-worthy, original, antique and vintage things. This is a Sears wallpaper sample from 1928, and I think the colors in this flower are just absolutely magnificent. Look at that blue and pink and purple. Cute little, oh, I was going to fold an origami hat. Well, I forgot. Anyway, the page is still beautiful with our little tin soldier. Until he gets dropped. Don't worry, I think at the end of the story he's okay. Just a pretty decorative paper from my Magic Carpet Arabian Night themed printable kit. And then at the center of the book, we have one of my new doorways. This is not yet available as a printable, but I think it will be one day soon. Pardon the background noise, by the way. My boyfriend's home and he is playing on his drums right when I'm filming this video. Hopefully it's not too noisy. But yeah, this doorway I think looks just magical with the paper doll. Like she's going to explore an enchanted beach realm or something. The strings holding the signature in place are from that gorgeous gift box from Tanya at My Jewelry Addiction. So yeah, I always love adding beads to my fabric, signature strings, and they came out just so pretty. This ruffle was from Kimberly. Thank you, Kimberly. This might just be my favorite thing in this journal. It's a long, skinny bookmark with these fun pom-pom tassel trim ends. And it just looks so cool, giving texture to the side of the book page. But it's got some flip-ups with some fun textured fabric bits. And best of all, natural gemstones for each of the 7 chakras. So amethyst for the crown, that's for spiritual connection. Kyanite for the third eye, that's for intuition and psychic ability. Blue apatite for the throat, that's for clarity of communication. Peridot for the heart, for love. Citrine for the solar plexus, that's manifestation, willpower. We have some beautiful Spessartine for the sacral chakra, that's for energy, vitality. And garnet for the root, grounding, health, and stability. So I love putting natural gemstones in the books I make. I feel like it just raises their vibrations and adds some positivity. So yeah, nothing like having the full color spectrum. So this can either stay with the book or you can take it out and use it as a bookmark. Anyway, in the back we've basically just got the other sides of all of those pages. Here's our 1600s paper. Another cool Picasso piece. In this pocket, I've put a really cool sample of wallpaper. I found a whole roll of this stuff under my sink when I moved in with my boyfriend. And I love it in journals. It just looks really cool added to collages. This really pretty paper was from Cat Stone, and it just looks so stunning here, especially with the black tie closure. We have an aerogram, really, really, really old version of Canadian airmail, 15 cents. And what's neat is that the letter was the envelope. So somebody would write on the inside of this envelope and then fold it up and send it. And it's like a self-stamped thing. Kind of cool, hey? So yeah, really, really full of journaling space. Whoops, I guess the glue would go here, then there, and there. But yeah, lots of good journaling space for you. Or collaging space. Another sample of this stunning vintage wrapping paper. And this little guy is what's called a Japanese money turtle. And it's believed that keeping it in your wallet or in your purse will attract financial abundance. I put one in my purse. You can keep it in your journal or move it to where you keep your money if you prefer. Kitsungi cards. Kitsungi is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with real gold. And so I like to put tears in my pottery fussy cuts and then repair them with gold paint. So it's like a kitsungi paper. And of course you could use that as a journaling card. There's a tutorial video for those. One of my very, very few tutorial videos. So cool. I didn't realize part of that Bosch painting was in here, but there it is. Maybe not the most positive vibes. You could collage over it if you wanted to. That's the risk we take when we use pages out of an art history textbook, isn't it? Is that there might be something really cool on one side, but when you fold it over and put it in your journal, you might wind up with something less appealing on the other. More of this really cool antique sketchbook graph paper. And then this flip up is from my friend May. Remember how I said there was definitely some fabric in here from her? It's just held in place with that paper clip, so you could take it out, glue it down, do whatever you like with it. Oops. Really, really pretty vintage postcard that I found at an antique shop. I love the little dinosaur. And so this is another page from that vintage lapidary magazine from the 1960s. I love it in a journal because it's all about crystals. So agates, rock shop, dinosaur bones, jade. As a jewelry lover and gemstone lover, I just love that kind of stuff. Petrified wood, amethyst. The tab is some fabric from May. Special faceted citrine. Here's another Versailles page. Really beautiful. Here's some nice Japanese fabric. And on the other side of that is a beautiful crinkly piece of rice paper from the late Edo period. The late Edo period is similar to what we call the Victorian era, so late 1800s, but really beautiful. And then here's where we get the name for the journal. One of the pieces of fabric in a Happy Mail from Kimberly was a big square of this denim that's been bedazzled. And if you're a 90s kid like me, or if you were around in the 80s or 90s, you might remember bedazzlers were all the rage, a little tool for setting grommets and clothing that ladies would go wild and bedazzle their jean jackets and their vests and things. So I thought little pieces of this fabric in journals might be a fun, kitschy little element. And I wrote under it, in a world where you can be anything, be dazzling, like bedazzled. And then I signed it and wrote the year. So that's where I've signed this book. I'm going to try to start signing the journals when I make them. And here we have another piece of rice paper from the late Edo period. This one has calligraphy that's been handwritten by a student. And you can see on some of the pieces where the student has practiced their brush calligraphy, there's also a partial stamp. Here, this one has a full stamp. Very interesting. I would love to know what these say. But yeah, so that page is kept inside this little fold out here. Like I said, just lots of random, beautiful things in this journal. It doesn't really follow any set theme except for, what do I think is dazzling? You know, what do I love to collect? What do I love to put in books? Art, antiques, jewelry, beauty. That's the theme. So here there's a gorgeous pocket that was included with the ephemera Cat Stone gave me. I just love this tropical wild cat theme. A bit of a monkey. And then in here I put a journaling card from one of my own printable kits. And it shows this gorgeous Roman girl, or the Victorian artist's interpretation of a Roman girl. And she's holding a bluebird of happiness. So there it is. I try to put a bluebird of happiness in every journal. More of this stunning pink trim as a tab on the page from Kimberly. Yeah, just all kinds of pretty things. And here we're at the back. So on the back page, I made a belly band out of this gorgeous beaded trim from Tanya. And on the sides of this sari trim, I put this beautiful pink and blue beaded trim from her. In fact, when the book is closed, doesn't that just look gorgeous hanging on the pages? This pink and blue beaded trim. Oh, I just love it. I should show you the the overstuffed sandwich view of the book sides. How pretty is that? So yeah, just stuffed with goodness. And in this very last belly band, I added a page that I found in a kid's music instructional book, Thrifting. So it shows the placements of the keys, where to put your fingers. And I just thought it was so cute that a kid had actually colored in this grandfather clock. The book's from the 1920s. I'm guessing the coloring came later. It looks very crayon-esque to me. But the little mice were just so adorable. So yeah, that was my newest book. I'm just going to put the paper doll back where she belongs. And then get that special something to stuff that pocket, as promised. Maybe I'll have to put our doll back after, because sure enough, like I said, I don't like struggling with things on film, but it happens. And I don't, so here's one of my pet peeves. That's where she goes. Yay, we get to put her back. Something that, it's the silliest little thing to be annoyed by. But one of my pet peeves when I'm watching junk journal flip through videos is when a fellow artist, and I get it, I totally get it, when a fellow artist gets frustrated or annoyed while putting something back and then just sets it off to the side and says, I'll do this later off camera. And I always think, no, do it now, put it where it belongs. And it's so funny because I'm not normally, you know, a perfectionist like that, but I do try to put everything back where it goes in the journals when I do these flip throughs, just in case anybody watching is like that too. And in fact, maybe I'll ask, you know, do you have a preference? If you have a preference, if you find it super annoying to sit through and wait while somebody puts things back where they belong, the way I do, or do you find it frustrating when somebody sets things to the side and doesn't put it back where they belong, which I find annoying. Because yeah, if a bunch of people are watching this thinking, just set it aside, oh, don't struggle with it on camera, then maybe I'll start just setting it aside. Anyway, and if nobody mentions it, then I'll just do it how I feel like it. So I feel like I hit the mother lode of beautiful 1950 ephemera recently. This was a gift from the lovely Angelica, who gave a gorgeous swap journal to Cat Stone and received a gorgeous paper doll book from Cat Stone. And I'm saying that because you can go to Kat's channel to watch the flip through of those books if you're interested. But she sent me a happy mail that I received this week, and this glorious 1950 account ledger was among the treasures. It also included some stunning fabrics. But I just had to show you this beautiful book on camera before I start using the pieces of it in my journals, because, oh my goodness, it's so pretty that my inner collector wants to hoard it and keep it intact and just have it, but logic kicks in and tells me it will look more beautiful added into journals than just hoarded and kept as it is. So yeah, isn't it just cool? I just had to show all the different textures of paper and sizes of paper and stamps and handwritten things and colors, and it's from Austria, which is just so cool. With some old rusty staples. I think junk journal artists like me, we're probably the only people in the world who see something like this and say, yay! It has torn edges and rusty staples. It's perfect. Right? I should put that on a t-shirt. It has rusty staples and torn edges. It's perfect. But yeah, I just love these. So anyway, I thought I would do a quick show and tell of my new treasure and put the very first piece out of this book into the pocket on that page. So there we go. Whoever goes over to my Etsy shop and claims this journal as their own will have a piece of this super, super cool Austrian receipt paper from 1950. Super gorgeous. My mom pointed out that it's clearly for some kind of installation, so we're not sure exactly what it is, but they've installed something. Oh, sorry to have to fold it, but whoever gets it, I hope you treasure this kind of fun stuff as much as I do. I hope you love having the book as much as I've loved making the book. And last but not least, I always give away a special ring with every journal. So this journal gets this faux pearl, faux diamond ring that I found thrifting, because I feel like this journal includes a lot of the things that are classic, and they're beautiful because they're classic. And there's nothing more classic than a simple little minimalist ring like that. And how pretty does it look dangling from the black tie bow on the side. Super pretty, if I do say so myself. So yeah, there you have it. Be dazzling. And on that note, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. I hope you enjoyed this flip through. I hope it inspires you to get crafty, or maybe get journaling, or maybe treat yourself. You deserve it. If you feel drawn to buying the book, if it's still available in my shop for you, I'm happy for you. And in the meantime, yeah, just thank you so very much for watching my video, for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, just helping me grow as an entrepreneur slash artist. Every little bit helps, and I so much appreciate. So much love to you. Oh, if you're noticing this big sparkly, my friend Aisha gave this to me. Isn't it cool? She knows I love Peridot tourmaline, and it's a Peridot tourmaline doublet, so it's not a whole entire giant gem, but it's super pretty. And thank you, Aisha, if you're watching. Anyway, had to point that out because I painted my nails to match it and everything. Oh, and I almost forgot. Okay, so this beautiful beaded bracelet was from Tanya. Thank you, Tanya. There were so many cool beaded bracelets and friendship bracelets in with her happy mail. This one, easiest clasp in the world, unless you're filming a YouTube video. Yeah, it just pops on like that. And yeah, she had mentioned that they could make really cool bookmarks or look really cool tucked into a journal. And I thought, absolutely they can. So I'm going to tuck this in to one of the pages here. I don't want to untie it again just yet, so I'll just put it like so. See how stunning that looks? Oh, and it's on the gem cutting lapidary page. So how perfect is that? Because I remember Tanya saying to Jason, whose channel is called Jason Adams. He's my favorite jewelry expert ever. Go check him out. I heard her say in an interview on his channel that if she could just do one craft forever, it would be cutting gems, cutting gemstones. So perfect that her bracelet winds up on that page of all pages. Anyway, so much love to you. Thank you for your patience with me as I talk through every last little bit of my work. So much love to you. Happy crafting. Bye for now.